Look at this, right? This is just another sad example, right? Bridgen, right, is on this programme.
Or is it still
with this New Zealand woman, right? And they're talking about his legal case with Hancock, right? And, you know, I don't know why I record these videos, because you know the folks going to listen to it, but, you know, the words need saying. I know that Bridgen won't listen to it. He's far too busy. You know, there's loads of important things that people need to listen to at the moment, but people are not able to get their attention. So Bridgen is moaning about, you know, he's getting divorced from his wife, and he couldn't even get a lawyer, and none of them would touch him, you know, because of who he was, his involvement with politics and everything else, right? Now, this video has to be the most saddest, depressing, miserable, and such a tragic case example in England, right? Because you've got Bridgen, who is appearing on this programme as like an ex-MP, a professional. He's actually complaining about the corruption of the lawyers and of the barristers and of the legal sector. He's actually admitting that it's corrupt. This is a man who was an MP speaking in Parliament, who could actually do something about these things, right? And vote on it in Parliament and even get things put through when he was a Conservative, right? Through legislation. And even have a good standing and a strong say when it comes to like authorities like Solicitors Regulation Authority and so forth. He's complaining that the Solicitors Regulation Authority are corrupt. He's complaining that the Bar Standards Authority are corrupt, that they're basically racketeering, or maybe not that word, but they're all kind of like in a pals and a club. There are a lot of law firms getting legal action against them. There are a lot of law firms facing consequences, but it seems that they're monopolising it, apparently to keep them all under control or in a certain order that they want. And it's not in good order, it's in corrupt order, right? And I don't even know how the legal ombudsman fits into that, because I think one of the financial ombudsmen, women, was working in the Judicial Conduct Office. I don't know how that works and how it's fully independent. That seems corrupt to me. But the point is, this is what's so sad and depressing about this, right? Bridgen, right, who's meant to be claiming that he's a force of good against corruption, he's confessing, he's agreeing, he's reporting that the legal sector is corrupt. We've got a problem. He couldn't get a lawyer. They were making excuses up. They wouldn't represent him. They wouldn't do what he wanted to. I'm finding that myself. I don't know how people find lawyers. You're very, very lucky if you get a really, really good lawyer. You've just been lucky to find one. And most people who get them, I think, just go along with, I need some help. And then you're meant to instruct a lawyer. You're meant to direct and give them instructions. But what I found is quite the contrary. They want you to go along with what they want to do and how they want to do it, or they won't work with you, or they'll make an excuse and say they haven't got the capacity. Bridgen's confessing that they make these excuses up, right, and so forth. So he's saying that it's all corrupt, and he's even got evidence for that. Yet, right, with this Matt Hancock case, this is the most sorriest and sad and depressing of state of affairs. Bridgen is the one who wanted to bring legal action against Hancock, right? Yet he's complaining that none of the lawyers would touch him or help him, or it was very difficult, and he got a barrister to help him. He raised money. Bridgen actually reached out to the public, and they raised money for him for that lawsuit. No wonder he lost the election. I think a lot of them probably donated to him, and then, you know, after they'd given a lot of money to raise his 20 grand or whatever, then gave up. The fact is, right, Hancock is an MP, a member of Parliament, right? Bridgen is an MP. They've got parliamentary privilege while they're MPs, right? Over matters of church, state and law. Matters of church, the state or the law, or between MPs is privileged. And you've got a privileges committee, right? Hancock had a Twitter account for Matt Hancock MP, right? It weren't Dixie. He wasn't a cartoonist. It's Matt Hancock MP. And Bridgen has got Andrew Bridgen MP. It's declared for Parliament MP. You're covered with Article 20 or whatever of the Bill of Rights, in or out of Parliament for parliamentary matters. Now, the thing is, they're both mouthing off and sparring on their social media, but they're both MPs, and it is about politics. That's what they're arguing about, politics. Even if you criticise each other, you've got complete and total free speech. That means they could call him an F word or whatever. This is the thing. In or out of Parliament. Now, in Parliament, they've got the Speaker there with the whip or whatever, right, to keep them in order. He's not present out of Parliament. It's still the same. I don't know what compelled Bridgen to conceive of bringing charges against Hancock, even civil, because you can't prosecute him criminally because of privileges, right? But he wants to do him civilly. But the thing that he said, the reason that he's protected from criminal sue is because it's privileges. But because it's matters of church state law, it's like stop ULEZ, get Khan out, right? They're opposing Khan in the election. They're saying to get him out. They can be creative. That's the point. It's the reason ULEZ are getting prosecuted now for saying get Khan out too near his house. It's the exact same thing. Yet the Conservatives did all these advertisements of Ed Miliband in a top pocket of Alex Salmon, mocking Miliband all over the country on billboards. But where was the legal where was the suit? You know, it's Class E materials regarding an election. Is it covered by Class F as well on Parliament privileges or not? This is the thing. It's more defamation to Miliband than Bridgen could even conceive of. This is the thing. But what makes this even more cringeworthy, what makes this even more sad and depressing and just a car crash of contortionist sadness and depressing melancholy is that the twist on this is this. And it's the same with Galloway, although Galloway is not an MP anymore. And GB News, Jacob Rees-Mogg, and a lot of them, Esther McVeigh and so forth, is this. When you declare something for MP, right? It's for MP, Member of Parliament purposes. Here is the surgery in the town centre. Andrew Bridgen MP, come and see me. He won't see people if they're not from that county electorate area. And if you email him by electronic mail, an electronic form of communication, he will read it, but he won't reply to you, right? What's happened in this racehorse race, this Jack Flash Lightning infatuation with media and technology, which is surged forward at breakneck speed, racing like a Usain Bolt, quicker than lightning. They've run quicker than they can think. They've raced themselves into a completely illegal situation because they're declaring social media as MP, yet they're talking to every Tom, Dick and Harry on the face of planet Earth and responding to them. It's an electronic form of communication and mail declared for Member of Parliament, whether you like it or not. And I wish I had I wish I had people donating £20,000 to me, because I'll take the whole lot of them down. Every single freaking one of them. All MPs need to be prosecuted because they're claiming they won't and can't reply to people who aren't constituents unless you give your postcode, name and address. Yet they're talking to every Tom, Dick and Harry about politics on their social media, including flamboyant sparring between Hancock and Bridgen. And then Bridgen's complaining about it when he's breaking the law himself on there. Breaking parliamentary rules, supposed to be. Now, if Bridgen is, if Bridgen owes someone some money, right, sells someone a sofa, yes, they can sue him in between sessions of Parliament in civil court. And I suppose, if, you can do defamation, but the majority of subject content, why you get well known and famous as an MP, is matters of church, state, or law, politics, right? They know you because you're a politician. And when they open their mouth and speak to you, it's probably going to be regarding some law or other law, or what the law should be, or whether they vote for them or not, or what they think about this policy in government or not, or complain about Bridgen's position on this or that, right? Even if they call him an income poop for, voting for this or that in Parliament. It's still matters of church, state and law, which you're speaking to him about. So the whole thing is a complete, utter massacre. It's a massacre of law. It's the biggest massacre of mess ever known to mankind. And you've got him struggling and scrambling to prosecute Hancock when they're all breaking the law, all of them. And then he's getting £20,000 worth of donations when the Privileges Committee is meant to deal with disputes between members. And the Attorney General, you would have thought, they've got legal, they're meant to have legal, when you're an MP, on the council, you've got legal services on the council, right? Legal services. And in Parliament, when they're misbehaving in Parliament, they've got the Speaker. He bans them from turning up, right? In fact, I would go to court now. Well, can it even be heard in a court? They couldn't hear Anningfield's case in a court because it's matters of Parliament. When you've got Matt Hancock, MP, Twitter channel, and Andrew Bridgen, MP, Twitter channel, and Hancock insults Bridgen in or out of Parliament on their MP channel, which they're only meant to be speaking to their constituents anyway, or to each other, the MPs, in my opinion, why isn't the Speaker of Parliament banning Hancock from Parliament for 3 days for insulting Bridgen? And then it's a slap on the wrist and everyone knows that he's been suspended, and Andrew Bridgen, feels better about himself. Like when you're in the classroom and if someone does something naughty and they get sent out, if they do something to you and they get sent out, then, you've been, it's been acknowledged. You've been compensated for it. But Bridgen was going after money when they shouldn't have even been, they can spar with each other anyway under parliamentary rules. That's the point. You can say what you want in Parliament. It is freedom of speech, right? But they've got this etiquette is only tradition. It's like you're allowed to smoke in Parliament where we aren't allowed. They exempted themselves. This is the thing. It's only the tradition where they speak politely and nicely. But yeah, you've got them doing those weird, odd poltergeist possession movements when that odd, freaky woman stands up then sits down, like she's got epilepsy or Tourette's or something, and then they grab hold of the speaker and throw him into the chair. It's all school children, voodoo, poltergeist possession because they're highly excited. Like a roller coaster trip from primary school. This is how they get people to do stuff on television. I'll do anything to get on television. There's so much attention on them and excitement that they behave in strange ways, and now they're giving all these right and honourable titles. What should have happened with Bridgen and Hancock? If Hancock said something untoward to Bridgen, he should have reported him to the Speaker. And the Speaker should have banned Hancock from Parliament, and everyone would have seen it on the channel and known about it in the country, and they'd have known that he'd been punished for what he said to Bridgen. That is a correct and proper way to deal with it. And they're all breaking the freaking laws on all these media channels now because it's just, it's normal. They're all breaking the laws. Mogg is a criminal man, and he can be banned from ever voting again in any election. And he needs to be prosecuted in law. He breached his privilege of Parliament. The rules are set for them. He breached privilege, did Mogg. He needs to go to prison. Well, he might not actually end up going to prison, but he should lose his vote. There are punishments available. Esther McVeigh, Galloway had a dabble in it, but now he's, he says that the future's not in Parliament, it's on social media anyway. And this Lee Anderson guy. What's happening now is members of Parliament who had a professional job in life get fame, and now with social media, they're getting even more, they're becoming celebrities. And there's a line between if you want to be a celebrity and all the chat shows and talk shows and stroke the ego, like they used to get people from the audience. This is the problem with television and all these morning shows and fame. The fame's getting to them, and because no one's challenging them, the police won't go and arrest them when they're on TV or anything. The police aren't upholding any of the laws to do with elections and MPs. In fact, they don't understand it. The police are like a blunt, the blunter than a Bridgen. The police are throwing these criminal damage charges when it's defacement, and then they don't even know what acts of law exist. The police literally are like a complete and total blunt, retarded instrument. They're not really fit for purpose. All they do is look out for ruffians and smash them around like bulls in a china shop. There's no eloquence. There's no intelligence. They might think they're using intelligence. They make a political point. They've got a press office, if something's in the news and they can pop someone's name up that might mean something or whatever. But